Now, one of the things that I found out on the October 30th sale, we were told last minute that we were going to have city water available. Come to find out, I would say a majority of the properties that are past the first few lots are not going to have water for quite a while. They use the word never. I never say never. Hey, this is Common Troy coming to you from Linden Camp, a small boutique RV park I'm developing on 35 acres, 5 minutes southeast of Linden, Tennessee. And we've done a lot of electric videos, so we're going to switch gears here and we're going to talk about water. Water is probably, one of the bigger challenges that a lot of RVers don't think of that our RV park has to get right. So we actually, met with some engineers and we designed a city quality water infrastructure here at Linden Camp. This is actually a 4-episode series, 4 parts, and RV park infrastructure. The first episode is what I call the design video, where I talk about some of the subdivision specific things from when I purchased the land to some show and tell of the components and the actually walk the infrastructure that's been installed. It's about 90% done, and explain how that all works. Episode 2 is going to be showing Linden Utilities coming out here and actually tapping the water line at the road and installing the shut-off valve and the meter base. Episode 3 is going to be focused on the actual 2-inch backbone. I'm going to show the drone footage of the trench that was dug 2 feet deep for the water infrastructure, and then installing the 2-inch HDPE backbone on there and some taps. And then finally, with the 4th episode, or the 4th episode in the series, I call it the finishing video, where we're going to put the finishing touches on the water infrastructure, including installation of the fire hydrant here in the back, which is a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. This is episode 1. We're going to cover 3 things in this episode. We're going to talk about the subdivision specific stuff and where the water is, where the water isn't, and some of the things that we were told at the sale, and a lot of questions I get about water with regard to our subdivision. The second part in this episode 1 is going to be some show and tell, where I show the components that we actually install in the ground to do the RV park infrastructure. And then part 3 of episode 1 is the kind of the design part and the layout of the water going from the road all the way back to the property, where the taps are, the shut-off valves, the water distribution system, more design type stuff. So that's what we'll be talking about in today's video. Now, one of the things that I found out on the October 30th sale, we were told last minute that we were going to have city water available and natural gas in the subdivision. Now, we all went in there with the expectation that we were going to have to drill wells, so that was just a nice addition. Come to find out from talking to the town of Linden that some of the properties have water available, the ones that are closer to Linden, the higher numbered ones, the ones that I would say a majority of the properties that are past the first few lots are not going to have water for quite a while. So you're really going to have to you're going to have to drill your own well there. According to the town of Linden, they use the word never. I never say never. So they said it was going to take millions of dollars to build up the infrastructure to get the water out, to the entire subdivision. Again, just what I heard, hearsay. It's not necessarily factual. You need to do your own research and your own due diligence. but that's what happened to me, you know, as far as that we're going to get water. So I just want to take a minute and do a shout out to the City of Linden, Linden Utilities, Mayor Wess Ward, and all the staff that works, you know, at City Hall. They've been more than helpful and welcoming to me, and, you know, with consulting. They allowed me to use their vendors and have my components shipped right to the city, and that really made things real helpful. Here is a roll of 500-foot HDPE pipe that I had delivered to the city of Linden. This is the first roll of 2 rolls, by the way, that I had delivered. So needed more than 500 feet to get to where I wanted to do it. So I still have about 350 feet in storage that will be used for, you know, a future project. And they were nice enough to let me use this trailer to take the pipe out to my property and install it in the trenches. I just can't imagine what it would be like trying to install this pipe without this sort of a setup and trailer. So thank you, City of Linden, Wess Ward, and everyone else. I really do appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. So I have a little bit of show and tell here. So if you look here in the back of my truck, I have a shadow. Let me see if I can rotate here. So this is a 3-inch waste PVC pipe, and this is similar to what we have coming down the road. Although it's not PVC waste pipe. But it's white. It's 3 inches, and this is the diameter of it. And what we have at the road is a saddle clamp, and tap into that with a 2-inch water line. So here is here's the 2-inch that we run down what I call the water backbone down Linden Camp. So I did some research online, and this 2-inch water line at 60 or 65 psi will deliver 400 gallons of water per minute. So in comparison, if you were to drill a private well out here for a residential well, you'll get somewhere between 4 or 5, maybe 10 gallons a minute of flow. So this is 400, and should be plenty to hook up all the RV sites out here. Probably an overkill. I mean, if you look at a 4 gallon per minute and you have 400 gallons being delivered by this, you could typically feed 100 RV sites that were all using 4 gallons a minute at the same time. That's highly unlikely. So this is probably big enough for a 300 or 400 site campsite. We're not going to have anywhere near that here. So this 2-inch basically taps into the side of the 3-inch at the road, and there's saddle clamps. Now this is how we connect the 2-inch. I've already prepared it with a gripper ring, which is the brass thing, and then a rubber seal, and then there's a gas insert that goes in the end. And the way that these mount is, they just connect into there and bolt up to our valves. That's an M&H 2-inch gate valve that we've buried in the ground. And then, so that runs down, basically straight down the center of our lot, 600 feet. And then where I need water, what I do is I have these saddle clamps, which have a rubber gasket on them, and they just go onto the side here like that, and then there's straps that go on the back side. So those straps, you know, hold this into place, and then you take a 1-inch drill bit and drill through the pipe, and then that gives you a seal here. And then once you have the saddle clamp on, you use these forward valves and screw them into the side here, and then this gives you 1-inch pecs out of the valve. So in this configuration, I'll have 2 valves, a valve on my backbone so I can maintain these valves, and then where I need water, I'll tap in a 1-inch pecs here. So this is 1-inch pecs right here, and that will connect into there, into my forward valve. And this is all underground stuff. And then I run this underground to a utility shed. So I get water, 1-inch water to a utility shed, and that's where I actually distribute the water. So here is a water manifold that I use. This is 3/4 in and 1/2 inch out to the RV sites. And then this is a PEX reducer, a T that will let me tap into my 1-inch line, and 3/4 inch to connect up to, you know, to here. So like that. And this will connect into there. And then of course the 1-inch connects into the forward valve over here. So that is pretty much how we built our water infrastructure here at Linden Camp. Just to show you the ends that we have here that I built up. There's what's called a steel gas insert. So this keeps the pipe from collapsing. That goes in the, you know, in the end of the 2-inch HDPE pipe. I use Vaseline to get that in there, and a hammer. And then this is the gripper kit that you buy. So this is the valve and everything you need to do the mechanical connection. So that's how we do our water infrastructure. Now you may have noticed that there's some yellow pipe here. I'm running gas line, natural gas line, along with the water, and I'm also running communication line or communication conduit for, you know, for whatnot, cable TV, fiber, internet, coax. And one of the things too, since these valves are underground, I actually cut a piece of PVC. I use 4-inch. This is a 3-inch, but I use 4-inch on these to get above the ground, and then I use 6-inch on these 6-inch PVC to take these M&H valves above ground, and then I use these sprinkler cans on the top of the pipe. So we're gonna take a look at those next. So I know there's a lot of information I'm covering here, so we're gonna kind of go on a walk, and I'm going to show you how everything kind of fits together. Now I know all the components I just showed are probably confusing, and you really may not understand how it all fits together. Don't worry, we have the rest of this video and 3 more videos to show these components in action and how we actually installed them, and you know, that will be coming up here. A while ago I did a little mini series on RV park underground primary, service panel you see behind me and hooking up RV sites from the electrical panel. In part 2 of that series, I did a design and annotated on the screen of how the electrical went. I'm gonna build off that same video and show how the water goes in relation to the electric. So in that video, it started out at the road, and the electrical, worked its way back to the transformer, and down to the end of the property. And the power panel we built is right here, and then on the other side of the trees here is where the water runs. So as I walk on the property and show where the water line is going to go and the water infrastructure, I'm going to be annotating the my walking path. I've heard some feedback from some of my viewers that it's hard to tell where I am on the property. So I'm hoping that extra visual aid will help you out. So let's get right down to it. So we're at the road here, and the first thing you do is you get with the water utility to figure out where to put the tap. And you're pretty flexible. You can put it anywhere in your lot line within your lot. We decided to put ours right over here, kind of close to the telephone pole. So that's where we tap into the 3-inch water line at the road. I don't know if you can see it there. It's probably in there. I can't really see it on my little screen. And then from that, there's a water valve in there. That's the main water shutoff. And so that goes from 3-inch to 2-inch, and then the 2-inch goes over to this big black box, which is the water meter. And the gas also taps at the same spot there. And then from that is when the customer has to connect in. So the utility will come in and put the tap in, put the main shutoff valve in, and put the water meter in. And then we did some trenching here, and we took kind of an S-shaped line over here. This is where the building's going to go, over on this side. So the water comes here around the building. We didn't really want to put it underneath the building in case we ever had to maintain it. So this is where my office and RV shop are going to go. And then we come up here to the first tap. I set up a couple props here so you can see what's in the ground. So this stuff is already in the ground. There's the first thing is one of those 1-inch taps. So that's the first handle here. And these handles, you pull them out, you put the caps on, and then that's how you turn the valves on and off in the ground. And then after it goes to the 1-inch tap, it goes to a big gate valve. So if I turn off the red one here, it will turn off water for the entire park back, but I'll still have water for my building. And then I buried 1-inch PEX all the way over here to that gas meter, and then it turns over there, and I put a water hydrant in the middle of where the building's going to go. That's just temporary, so I can find the water line later when I actually build a building. We'll dig up the water hydrant, and then the 2-inch backbone continues on down here, and we're going to have a similar kind of setup down here with a 1-inch tap and another gate valve. I'm not going to show those, but that is right over here. Oh, and by the way, we're putting a fire hydrant in too. I've always wanted a fire hydrant, so we're going to put a fire hydrant in towards the back of the property. But anyway, so we come down here. This is our second set, so it's the same kind of thing. A 1-inch tap that comes first, and then another gate valve, another one of them big gate valves. So I can turn off the gate valve here and turn off water to the rest of the park, but I'll still have water at my main building, and then I also have, you know, water here. And then the 1-inch PEX goes on the ground here, underground, and comes up into my utility shed. So the 1-inch PEX comes up inside there. Let's go take a look at that. See if we can turn some lights on in here. There we go. And then the 1-inch PEX comes up over right over there in the corner, and then splits off to 3/4. I got a pressure regulator there, and then to that copper manifold, and then these 4 1/2-inch lines go out to each of the RV sites. I put meters on here, pressure gauges, so I can do leak testing. So I can turn off water, close the hydrant, and if it maintains pressure, there's no leak. If I lose pressure, I have a leak in that line. So it allows me to isolate where a leak might be occurring. So that's kind of our strategy. You know, the 2-inch backbone down the entire property, and then we pair a 1-inch Ford Corp valve with a shutoff with a 2-inch gate valve. So one of the things that the engineer told me when I was designing the system was, you know, you can never have too many valves. So we have lots of valves in the ground. So now I'm walking back to where the second utility shed is going to go. And these RV sites down towards the back of the front are fed off of that second station. So this RV site here will be getting water from the second utility shed. And then this last RV site up here will be getting water from this utility shed as well. Now, we don't have the utility shed built or set up yet, but it's going to go right in there. So let's just see if we can walk over there without falling. So here we go. Look at that mess of hoses and stuff down there. Now the PEX isn't very good resistant to sunlight, so we need to get this covered up and buried quick. You know, a few days or a week or two is probably fine. We get a lot of shade here, but I do have everything hooked up and pressurized so I could check my hydrants and stuff for leaking before we buried them. So that's and then there's another gate valve there, and another 1-inch Ford Corp that feeds the utility shed. And then now we're towards the about 600 feet in, and you know, the water backbone continues through the turnaround area here, and then there's a 2-inch T right below where I'm standing off of the 2-inch backbone that comes over here, which is there's another valve in the ground there where that white pipe is. That's a good view of the what I'm doing to case the valves in. But if I want to add on, you know, more sites to the south finger, I already have, you know, my backbone here. I don't have to dig up the rest of the park. I can just continue on. I also have gas and communication line here, and then that stake over there is where my electrical primary terminates. And then I do the same thing on the other side. So there's another T. You can actually see the T in the ground here, sort of. see if we can go down in there. But there's the T. Let's zoom in here, and on the bottom right of this video you'll see where the 2-inch water T for the backbone is. It's a little hard to see, so I've put a label on there. The black pipe that goes off to the left is where it goes to the north finger, and then where it's buried, kind of you know, going to the top right is the incoming water line. And then above that, the yellow pipes are the gas line. So again, the gas is coming in from the top right into that T, and then it will continue on straight towards us, and then it tees off to the left to go to the north finger. And then to the left of the gas T, oh, and also with the gas T, there's a yellow tracer wire that you'll see strung out in there. I'm not really sure whether that was needed, because I ran a 1.5-inch PVC communication infrastructure everywhere, and that goes along with the gas line. So if I need to do tracer wire, you know, I could just install some tracer wire where I need to do some tracing inside of the communication conduit. So it's always good to have a contingency plan. You know, plan A is the tracer wire that's buried with the gas. The contingency plan B would be to, you know, run a tracer wire inside of the communication infrastructure, maybe even temporarily, to locate gas lines and whatnot. And then lastly, on this zoomed in picture, you have the 1-inch water tap on the far left here, which connects directly to the 2-inch water backbone. And then at the top of that brass coupler there is a turnstile ball valve that will be able to reach, you know, from above ground with one of them tools to turn it. And then of course, you know, there'll be 1-inch PEX that goes into that 1-inch water valve. There'll be, you know, more 3/4-inch yellow gas line that goes into the gas T, and then there'll be a black 2-inch HDPE pipe that comes out of the water T backbone. And then the communication infrastructure, you really can't see it here, but those elbows actually turn up, you know, towards the ground level. And then we put a 10-inch or a 12-inch irrigation style, I call them flower pots. They look like a flower pot if you turn them upside down, that, you know, has a green cover on top. So, you know, the theory there is you'll be able to, you know, string a communication wire, whether it be Cat5 or TV coax or speaker wire or whatever, have it, you know, come out of one of the PVC conduits, and then, you know, feed it down into the next one where you want to go. Kind of a poor man's switch box, if you will. So you can just, you know, move the wires where you need them. And then this T goes over that way for the north finger. And I don't know if you can see it beyond yonder there, but there's another pipe and a valve over there sticking out by that tree. And this is where I'm going to put my fire hydrant. So this 2-inch is going to terminate right in here, and that's where my fire hydrant's going to be installed right after I get done recording this video. I'm so excited. That is kind of the design and the installation of the an RV quality, or I actually call it a city quality water infrastructure. So I'm walking over here to the North Fork to show what that looks like in the ground. So here's one we're in the process of building and getting ready to bury. So and I'm just going to have those black pipes sticking out of the ground so I can flush the lines. And well, and if it's hot, we can have like a like a hillbilly water park out here. So, and then I also have gas and communication line here. So that's really the gist of our water design here. I know there's probably a lot of technical information there, and I hope you followed it. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to write some comments down below and let me know what any questions you may have. And you know, what I did here is probably an overkill for what I'm doing, but if you know me and you watch some other videos, I tend to overbuild things. I don't like problems in the future. So with a city quality type of water infrastructure here in the ground, I'm not anticipating any problems with water delivery at all. You know, one of the things I contemplate too is, like, you know, a lot of the sites out here don't have water at the road, so they just have a well. And you know, doing this park here, this RV park, is only possible, well, I shouldn't say it's only possible because I have city water, but it makes it a lot easier. You know, if you tried to put, you know, more than 2 or 3 sites or 4 sites on a residential well, you know, when someone flushes the toilet in one RV and taking a shower in another RV, you know, you could have some water pressure issues. So then you end up, you know, digging a bigger well. Then you're more into the commercial well space. And then you need a storage tank that's above ground to hold the water. And then the state gets involved, and then they want to test it every 30 days, I believe. And it's got to be treated. And you know, I feel pretty lucky having water here at the road. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next video.